Howdy! Are you ready to create, share, spread joy by making creations that are a reflection of you? If so, stay tuned to be inspired. Hey, let's have fun today and let's get messy. Let's make some fun distressed oxide or distressed ink backgrounds. Put your distressed oxide ink down onto your Tim Holtz glass mat. Add some water. I just have a spray bottle from the dollar store. And then mix it together using your paintbrush. Now, we're going to play with lots of colors, so a great tip is to take your paintbrush and clean it off really good with your microfiber cloth, and you can use it between all the different colors with no contamination. Next, smoosh that paper all around onto that glass mat, and then when you pick it up, you will have a surprise background. And I just pat it dry using my Microsoft fiber cloth and set it to the side so that it can really dry good before we add our other elements. All right, let's not let this ink go to waste. We'll get another piece of cardstock and we're going to pick up some of that ink, but this time we're going to take a heavy object and set it on top to really saturate it so it's a darker color. After 5 minutes has passed, take the object off and ooh, see the results. This is a lot of fun. I love the look of this. We'll wipe away our ink and we'll start on our third background. I'm so excited. We're going to get out our distressed ink, Peacock feathers, and we're going to make one background like we did before by adding the water. And then we're going to add to that background at the top. Now let's take our watercolor paper and get to smooshing again. We are going to smoosh another background around using this paper because we want to just get a really nice light background. We're going to make some fun cards to send out to people to spread some joy. That looks really pretty, but I want some more blue in that corner, so I'm going to smoosh it around just a little more. And I love calling this the smoosh technique. If you like it, let me know. So I'm going to blot this off and set it over to the side so that it can dry for a while. And now on to the exciting part. Let's take our cardstock and blot this and put it into this peacock blue, and let's see the reaction of the color. I'm going to turn it around some to get some of the color and then put a heavy object on it so that it can sit for 5 minutes and really dissolve some of that color. Now let's reveal the beauty that is there. Isn't that gorgeous? It's changed part of the colors. The two dyes have come together. We'll set that to the side, let it dry. Look at that beauty, and we're going to decorate that up. I decided to experiment with distressed ink and distressed oxide and squirting water on them, mixing them together, and seeing what color effect that I'll get on the water color cardstock. And I'm going to smoosh that all around, and it's a little bit more runny, but there we go. I'm getting that really good and saturated. I cleaned it off with the microfiber cloth that I didn't show. I just put down the distressed yellow ink. I wanted to see what the difference was going to be. I am doing the same thing again. I'm going to squish it around, and I noticed that really it's just a little bit darker, I think, the two color combos together, but there's not much difference. But that still gives me two nice backgrounds to work with. Let's get to decorating. I am going to heat emboss several of these backgrounds, so I have sped this up for you. Of course, you want to get your static off using your bag and then ink up your image good with Versamark. I love the MISTI because I can stamp it twice. I use a lot of white embossing powder, so I have a container separate for this, and it's easy to put my embossing powder on. And off camera, I heat set this with my heat gun. I'm going to use the ReverseConfetti sentiment stamps. You can use any sentiment stamps you have, and I plan to emboss this using silver embossing powder. This will really make it pop out of that blue. And then you'll see I use a black container to catch the silver embossing powder because I don't have a lot of that, and it can quickly be put into the jar, and I'll heat set this. I love the shiny silver on this background. Now let's get to my favorite background. I love all these colors. I want to emboss this one too. This time I'm going to use black embossing ink to really make it pop since we have so many colors going on the page. And I have that same type of container, which I'll link below, because I use a lot of black embossing powder, a lot of black and a lot of white. And then I'll just heat emboss this off the side of the screen. And I think this is just fabulous, just like the word fabulous on the card. And next, we're going to take that watercolor paper and use Memento black ink to stamp with ink a big sentiment onto the watercolor cardstock. Now, the watercolor cardstock is textured, and so it's going to take me 3 times to really get the stamped inked up, pressed down, so it makes a nice, clean image. But isn't that what is wonderful about the MISTI? We can stamp over and over to get that pretty image. Let's see how fun these turned out. I used a white cardstock, and then I cut out black cardstock to make the background to pop out the sending smiles, and added some fun colored sequins. And then on the blue, I added dewdrops, and it says, "You don't need permission to be wonderful." And I added a silver background to a white cardstock. What's great about this is you can write a little note. Everybody loves a handwritten note. And then for the white embossed flower, I didn't want to put a sentiment. I wanted to leave it plain so I can make it a thank you card or a sympathy card or anything that I might need to pull. I just like the simplicity. And then for this one, I stacked the different papers for layering. I wanted to pull out that purple. I have kind of angled the cardstock so it's not all just straight on the card, and I just love how this turned out. It is just fun. I think the recipient is going to enjoy it. So I love making all these smoosh watercolor backgrounds, and I hope you do too. Stop by next week. Give me a thumbs up if you like. If you like these cards, please subscribe and come back to my channel. I'll be back next week. And hit that notification bell. Thanks for stopping by, and spread some joy.